Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for this very special press conference. My name is Mariana Kim. It gives me great pleasure to be your MC for this wonderful event ahead. On behalf of the group, I would like to welcome everyone to this very special event, including Tony Fernandez, CEO, Capital A, Bo Lingham, President Aviation, Colin Curry, President Commercial, Irene Omar, President Ventures, Tatra Busara-Ongse, Chief Financial Officer, Rosman Omar, Director, Asia Aviation Capital Limited, both of them joining us online, AirAsia board members, senior management teams, members of the media, and other distinguished guests. Thank you once again for being here with us today. We're gathered here today for the announcement of a brand new name of our investment holding company and the unveiling of a new corporate identity that better reflects the group's business direction moving forward. So without further ado, let's get the show on the road, shall we? We have our fun team, a fun performance put together by AirAsia's fun team and the much anticipated unveiling of our logo. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the fun team.
Excellence must be pursued, it must be wooed with all of one's might, every bit of effort that we have. Each day is a new encounter. Each day is a new challenge. All of the noise, all of the glamour, all of the color, all of the excitement, all of the things, all of the money. These are the things that really linger only in the memory. But the spirit, the will to excel, the will to win, these are the things that endure.
You know I want you, so don't keep saying our hands are tied. I know you want me, so don't keep saying our hands are tied. You claim it's hard in the cause, but faith is pulling you miles away and out of reach from me. But you hear in my heart, so who can stop me if I decide that you're my destiny?
No one can rewrite the stars. How can you say you'll be mine? Nothing can keep us apart, 'cause you are the one I was meant to find. It's not up to you, it's not up to me. When everyone tells us what we can be, how do we rewrite the stars? Say that the world can be ours.
Tonight, all I want is to fly
with you.
All I want is to fly
with you.
So just give me
all of you. Is this impossible?
It's not impossible.
Say that it's possible. How do we rewrite the stars?
Say you were
Made to be mine. Nothing can keep us apart, 'cause you are the one I was meant to find.
It's up to you, and it's up to me. No one can say what we
Can
can
be?
So why don't we
Rewrite the stars, changing the world to be ours. You know I want you. It's not a secret I try to hide. I know you want me. Rhythms and breaking my hands are tied.
to you capital A. We are proud to share with the world that we are more than an airline. All right, let's take an opportunity for a quick photo op. May I invite the leaders of capital A onto the stage for a quick photo op. Media friends, this is your opportunity. AirAsia Group, Farhad is now capital A. And the name change reflects our rapid transformation to become more than just an airline. We have achieved this in just 2 years. And the unveiling of the logo capital A reflects the fact that we are now a digital travel and lifestyle company with more than 20 products and services, which is more than any other brand in ASEAN. Way for Biggie, our mascot for AirAsia Rewards. Baby steps. Biggie, you can do this. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's give our media friends a little bit more time. Try to make a capital A with your fingers. There we go. That's a triangle, Tony. Make it into a... That's an Illuminati. Irene's got it, I think. All right, thank you so much. You may return to your seats. Now, who's going to help Biggie return to her seat? All right. All right, well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. right, more photos, of course, by the logo, our new, brand new logo that symbolizes our digital transformation from more than to more than an airline. And the leaders who will be taking Capital A to the next level, Irene Omar, Bollingham, Colin Curry, the three presidents of Capital A, and of course, Tony Fernandez, CEO of Capital A. Try your A once again. This time with the Capital A caps. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give them a big round of applause. All right, thank you so much. All right, well, AirAsia Group is now Capital A. So why the name change? What does it all mean? And how will things change from this point onwards? One person has the answers to all of these questions and then more. Let me, at this time, invite CEO of Capital A, Tony Fernandez, onto the stage to explain to us all of these and much more. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Hi, morning everyone. Thank you for coming. It never fails to amaze me what amazing staff we have. So firstly, thank you to all my staff who have turned up. Thank you to the fun team. Thank you to the singers. You know, despite the enormous issues we have, the energy in Capital A Group is quite remarkable, and I really want to thank all my staff for all the All-Stars for coming over today and doing such a great show. I want to have a special thanks, actually, to Juani. Where is he? This man never fails to amaze me. He puts on such amazing events for so little. Please, everyone, give him a round of applause. You are the man. Thank you. And we got our food sponsor today, not from Santan, but from Mary Brown. Thank you, Mary Brown, wherever you are, for giving us chicken that I can't eat right now because I'm trying to lose weight. It's kind of the never-ending story. But this time it will end, one way or the other. So 20 years ago, I wore the same suit, actually, 20 years ago. You probably won't believe that. And it's true if you don't believe that, because I didn't wear this suit. I couldn't fit into the suit I wore 20 years ago, but I will. But 20 years ago, we started with this dream of democratizing air travel and moving it. I suppose I'm supposed to click, am I? And that was me and Kamarudin 20 years ago, on the day we bought AirAsia, with my famous quote of 2 planes and 200 staff, 254 staff. Some of them are still with us 20 years on, and some have been with AirAsia even before we took over, which is 26 years ago. And that was the original Alpha Bravo plane with the old AirAsia logo that we changed. So really, literally 20 years ago, it was December the 8th, is not that long ago. So we're 20 years and 1 month since we started AirAsia with 2 planes, and of course we've grown it to the 4th largest airline in Asia, carrying, just before COVID, 90 million people, and having 250 aircraft. It was an incredible story, and probably one of Malaysia's greatest stories, actually, and one of Malaysia's greatest brands in the history of corporate Malaysia, I dare say, to have done what we did. And I'm not going to go through this, but we've had an incredible 20 years, and Attila put this together from, starting in Thailand to mobile. And I want to stand just 2 seconds on that, because people think we're new to digital, but actually we're not. We've been a digital company for 20 years. We were the first company to introduce selling airline tickets on the internet and paying on the internet. No one had done it before. So digital is very much in our blood. We were the first company to really get behind SNS in terms of social media, Twitter, etc. And in 2009, we started an incredible run of winning the world's best low-cost airline for the first time in 2009. And we have won it ever since. We have never not been the world's best low-cost airline since 2009, which I think is now 12 years. Is it 12 years? 12 years non-stop. This Malaysian airline that started 20 years ago. So 12 years out of our 20 years, we have won the world's best low-cost airline. And we've continued to innovate with Faces, which now is really beginning to take place. We took our airline food and started restaurants. We launched Teleport. We celebrated in 2018 500 million passengers. We started GTR. We launched our academy under Irene, which is an incredible company, and ADE, our engineering company. And we've continued to grow. But people still see us as an airline. It can't, that's one of the strengths and probably one of the weaknesses. We've built such an amazing brand worldwide. Everyone knows AirAsia. Literally, everywhere I go in the world, people know AirAsia. But we're much more than an airline now. Much, much more. Our roots are in the airline. We're able to do what we're doing today because of the airline, and that's never forgotten. But we're much more than that, and hence we have to rename ourselves. We see Google doing this. We see Facebook doing this. We've seen many companies doing this as they've evolved, Cadbury's, etc., as they're becoming more than what they originally were. And that's what we are doing today. But, does that mean we're renaming AirAsia, the airline, into Capital A? Absolutely not. Capital A represents a group of companies underpinned by the world's best low-cost airline for the last 12 years. And so, I've said this already, how we have taken this brand, AirAsia, and now built a whole lot of new businesses is what Capital A is all about today. And, this presentation wasn't done by me, but it was always my dream, right? It was always my dream. It is not far beyond my wildest dream, because my dream was to take AirAsia and build it into a lifestyle group, right? Originally, for those historians here, we were originally going to call AirAsia Tune Air because we all came from the music business. But then it sounded like a Chinese swear word. So we decided not to call it Tune Air. And for those of you who don't know what that is, see Colin Curry later. But my idea was to, as we did with Tune Hotel and Tune Talk, was to build a community and a group that served the underserved. So what was AirAsia? AirAsia was about letting everyone fly. I came up with a tagline, now everyone can fly in the shower. I always say you have to have a sense of purpose for existing, right? So AirAsia existed to allow every single person to fly, to connect towns that were not connected, and to give my All-Stars a chance to live their dreams, from Coogan, you know, to go from a dispatch boy to a pilot, you know, from Pete to go from a banker to now disrupting logistics. It was always my dream to create serving the underserved, whether it was as an employee, whether it was in the airlines. And then we continued that journey. So now, while this slide says it was far beyond our wildest dreams, it was always my dream to create a group of companies that really served the masses and looked after the masses, not just the rich, but allowed everyone to partake in this new revolution. And that is what Capital A is going to stand for, and that is what Irene also is building a lot of venture firms, whether it's education. We want everyone to be able to be the best, everyone to be able to be a UX designer or a cybersecurity person. So everything we do is about accessibility, affordability, and inclusiveness. And whether it's Teleport, whether it's BigPay, whether it's iClass, whether it's Super App, those are the underlying pillars of what we are trying to achieve today. But also at the back of everything is to allow the wonderful All-Stars to also live their dreams and achieve their ambitions in the process. So that's why, you know, we needed this change, because whatever I do, and people will say it's window dressing, and actually it's the same thing, but already people are beginning to realize that AirAsia is much more. And you must remember, we're only about a year into doing this, right? It isn't that we've been doing this for 10 years. Only now, yesterday we went to see the police cooperative, and they didn't know we had all these companies like BigPay. They were so excited about BigPay. They're so excited about iClass. They want to do logistics with us. And so Capital A starts, when you have such a strong brand like AirAsia, it's very hard for people to think we're doing much more than what we're doing. And so that's why this evolution started, and I'm thrilled that 99.3% of our shareholders voted in favor of this name change, because it is a hard thing to imagine. You know, we've lived and breathed AirAsia for 20 years of most of our lives, and suddenly we're renaming it something hugely different. So welcome to Capital A, and I'd like to also congratulate Rudy. Come up here, Rudy. Rudy is our fashion consultant, stroke branding man, wearing whatever the hell he's wearing today, Issey Miyake Uniqlo t-shirt to cover up that, and Balenciaga shoes. But Rudy has, I want to say this, because in the 20 years, I think Rudy's worked for us for 18 years, right? 15 years. And he's looked exactly the same because he has a Korean wife and does plastic surgery every year, and Botox. But I would like all the All-Stars and everyone, our brand that is synonymous in the world and hugely successful, and Capital A is all designed in-house. Everything you see about AirAsia has been done by this man and his team, so please give him a round of applause as well. Thank you. And now Rudy is, you know, he's created Japanese HoloLive. He's doing content. We're in the record business. And so we're taking that brand, and we're going to be very different from most digital sites, which are very transactional. AirAsia is about people. That's all we know, and that's what we know best, is about people and building communities. And everything we're building is about making the community tighter and tougher. Whether you're a Muslim, we connect you through Ikhlas. Whether you want financial services, Salim will help you. Whether you want to start a business from your house to sell goods around the world, Teleport will do it cheaper and faster, you know. Whether you want financial services on top of what Big Pay gives you, AirAsia Super App will give you. But also connect you to a community, not transactional. You can check. There'll be videos. There'll be people in the same community that you can check with. And that is what we're good at. Whether it's good or bad, you've always been able to connect with AirAsia. If you are upset on refunds, we don't hide from that. We come up and tell you what the problem is, and you have a chance to always talk to us. So that journey continues, whether my all-stars want to talk to me. You know, we have 20,000 that are all connected on a product called Chili. Any person can connect us. So transparency and building community is what Capital A is going to be, and be very inclusive. So this is kind of why we did it, and I hope I've explained it. So we'll go through what our companies are. Of course, we're the airline. We have 5 airlines, and we're going to be opening new airlines. There's some really exciting projects that Bo is working on, and I don't want to steal his thunder, but hopefully AirAsia Aviation Group will have 2 more airlines, minus 1 maybe. So net we'll have an increase of 1 airline going forward. What we have really discovered in this journey is that we are strongest in ASEAN. That's what we're good at. That was my dream originally when I told Kamarudin. Everyone's talking about China and India, but really the strength is 700 million people in ASEAN, and I wanted to build an ASEAN brand. And that's whether it's Ikhlas, connecting Muslims across Southeast Asia, whether it's building a Southeast Asian bank, an ASEAN bank, whether it's building a travel and delivery product throughout ASEAN. We have Teleport and Super App. So this is kind of our playground for everything we do. But the airline will be very focused on ASEAN, and that's Bo's mandate. And underneath the aviation group, we have 2 great companies. Our food company, Santan, I'm not sure if Catherine is here, but run by Catherine. And GTR, which is our ground handling partnership with SATS of Singapore, which will now be increasing to include warehousing, which will be very important for Teleport going forward. So that's the aviation group, and that will be headed by Bo Lingham. Please stand up, Bo. So you all know Bo. Bo has worked for me for 28 years, which is a remarkable amount of years for someone to work with me and still like me, I think. And we worked in the music business together for, what, 12 years, Bo? Yeah, 12 years. Actually, you've worked for me longer then. You've worked 29 years for me. So, and here's a dream. Bo started making cassettes for EMI, which we used to say in Warner Music, EMI stood for Employ More Idiots. And Bo was one of the only idiots I thought worth working for us. So we hired him all those years ago. So Bo's got a huge job ahead of him. And I want to congratulate all my crew who always amaze me. You know, it's very easy. And pilots, you know, we still have pilots on furlough, and we hope that will be ending in the next week or so. So everyone will be paid some salary. But it is incredible. And the 4th quarter, I want to congratulate Bo and his team. We had a record load factor and record number of flights. And 2 days ago, we started our first flight to Cambodia as well. So things are really moving in the right direction, and we hope that Omicron is the last of the virulent viruses. I don't think it'll be the last variant, but hopefully each variant is going to get less deadly. And then we can get back to what we do best in aviation, which is flying people all over the world and taking boxes. So that's the aviation group. Next is logistics, teleport. So if you imagine what we did in aviation, was airlines before AirAsia would take you to a hub, and then you would change. So you'd come from KK to KL, and then you have to change planes to go to Penang or to go to Singapore. AirAsia turned that upside down by going point to point. And we continue that journey with opening recently Penang, Cebu. We're about to do KK, Langkawi, connecting places that were never connected before, and hence building new traffic flows and giving people a chance. That's the accessibility that I talked about in the three key pillars in AirAsia: accessibility, affordability, and inclusiveness. So what we did in the airline business, and 60% of our routes were routes that were never done before in the history of aviation, including routes such as Bandung, Pattaya, etc., etc. So now we're going to do that in logistics. If you think of DHL, if you think of FedEx, they bring all the goods into a major hub, such as Singapore or Hong Kong or Bangkok, and then they use airlines such as us or their own planes to move it to smaller cities or secondary cities. But in AirAsia's case, we can ship it directly because we fly everywhere. And so, cargo was always a stepchild in AirAsia. We always focus on passengers. And it was a good business, it was a little business, but it was never the number one. We never had freighters. We never talked about cargo planes in the 20 years. In fact, the first advisor of AirAsia, Conor McCarthy, who is also a founder, was very against having cargo at all. He thought it would slow down the turnaround. But I overruled him and said, no, this is a business we should try and develop. And it's always been in my mind. I've had many attempts and many failures, to be honest. We had all kinds of company names: Red Box, which wasn't a karaoke company, it was our logistics company, and all kinds of companies that failed. And then, we gave Pete a chance to go and consolidate all our cargo business all over ASEAN and Asia. And he came up with the brand Teleport and wanted to be unique and different and made it black and, doesn't want to have anything to do with AirAsia apart from his salary, which is paid by AirAsia and his shares. But it was his brand, and, he's building his own culture. And why did he make it black and white? And there is a story behind anything we say, because he wanted to make logistics black and white, simple, easy, transparent. Logistics, to most of you in this room, you wouldn't understand how to start, how to get into the supply chain. In the same way, 90% of people didn't understand how to fly, how to buy a ticket, and we made it transparent and easy. So that's why Teleport is black and white, because we want to make it simple, we want to make it fast, we want to make it cheap, and we want to make a person who never thought they could understand about a supply chain and have to go through many middlemen will not have to do this anymore. So anyone will be able to ship goods anywhere in the world from Teleport. And this is a company Pete has built. So Pete, please introduce yourself over there, or wave to someone, or do whatever. And Pete continues the diversity of AirAsia. Obviously, we are very diverse. Pete is from Thailand. We have all kinds of people. Mariana's Korean. Adina is from Kazakhstan. We have all kinds of people in our company, which is what makes us really very special. So Teleport, I have no doubt, is probably the diamond in the rough in AirAsia Group. I think if you imagine AirAsia when you saw that slimmer version of me 20 years ago, and think what Teleport can do to logistics in the next 20 years, it's phenomenally exciting. We've made some great acquisitions. We've built some great technology. We have an amazing blockchain that's going to revolutionize logistics. And we've made some really good investments. It was Pete that brought delivery to us, but that's been taken away from him now because Amanda preferred it more. Just last week or 2 days ago, we announced a fantastic collaboration and investment in an Indonesian logistics company called Cargo. which is going to really together, it's owned by a guy called Tiger Fang. I love that name. So we're going to have our own kind of tiger show with Pete, who knows tiger shows very well in Bangkok, to revolutionize logistics. And so that's Teleport. So Teleport is, imagine AirAsia 20 years ago, imagine what Teleport's going to do to logistics in the next 20 years, all right? Then we have ADE. Is Mahesh here? Or is he fixing planes? Okay. He has a very important job of getting our planes back in the sky. But ADE is also taking out value from our company. We have, people don't realize, but we have one of the biggest engineering companies in the world. But they were only fixing AirAsia planes. And of course, to fix AirAsia planes, you had to be pretty low cost, because we're the lowest cost airline in the world. So in my vein, I've always said, I don't mind competitors using us. I have a very different attitude. You'll see there's 0 comments from me on 2 new airlines. There could be 20 new airlines. I don't care. I only want to make sure that I'm the best, right? I don't waste my time on saying no one can start, no one's good enough, whatever. There's been 0 comment on me on the new airlines because it's irrelevant to me. As long as we're the best, then there's always a market for us, right? I don't waste my time trying to block competition or stop people. It's not in my culture. My culture is if someone's better than us, then we deserve to be kicked. So we always go out there to be the best, right? So ADE is taking the amazing engineering company we've built, and I hope the press will be invited down to the building, which is called Red Chain, by our airport, and you'll be blown away by what our engineers have built. I have no doubt that this will bring Malaysian MRO services to becoming one of the best in the world. And Mahesh and his team have built an incredible company which will challenge every single MRO. And again, we're going to disrupt because we have used data science. Irene was very instrumental in bringing blockchain into spare parts, into bringing predictive maintenance with Google into our engineering. So we're the most advanced MRO in the world. I can confidently say that. And for all these years, Malaysia has wanted to put its stamp on the MRO services. Well, today it has an amazing company called ADE, led by some amazing all-stars. And then we have BigPay, which is led by Salim over there. Salim is a unique combination of Iranian and Indian. I can't imagine a more dangerous combination of a human being. But I'll let you find out about Salim over the next few years. But it is a scary combination when I was introduced to them. Obviously, I have a close link to Iran and a very close link to India. And it was scary when they introduced Salim to me. But he is one of the founders of AirAsia, and of BigPay, and he's done quite an incredible job. It is one of the best products launches I've ever seen, from scratch into 1 million people using it. And even yesterday with the police, they all had BigPay cards, and they all said it was the best exchange rate, and it was so easy to use. Very soon, we'll be doing lending. We have remittance. The only thing we don't have, which we hope we will get, is a bank license for deposits. But we've got everything else already. We're the most advanced fintech in Malaysia by far. We have a license in Thailand and a license in Singapore. Sorry, we're about to get a license in Thailand. We just got verbal approval. So we're well on our way to becoming the #1 ASEAN financial services. And very soon, all of you will be able to get a loan from Salim at very reasonable rates. Okay, not loan shark rates. He is from Iran and India, but don't worry, we're in charge of making sure that he will give you affordable rates. And finally, two more companies. Super App, which I won't spend ages on because you all know about it, and their videos, and Mariana and Joanny are looking at me like I'm talking too long, but I'm the boss, so shut up. And Super App has really 3 things, but Super App is going to be very community-driven. We have our own messenger, we have our own loyalty program, which has been renamed AirAsia Rewards, and we want to tokenize that as well. So really exciting. 3 pillars: finance, travel, and delivery, where we have our ride-hailing. And I just want to mention Shan over there, who has come back from the jungles and has gone to live with tigers or retreat or whatever to ensure that he gives Grab a hard time. And in a very short period of time, this man has delivered 400,000 rides for AirAsia, which is quite remarkable. So, and you know, far beyond my belief, we're doing like 7,000 rides a day. I see so many AirAsia ride cars out there. We need more drivers, and I think we have about 3,000 drivers, or something. Is it 3,000 or more? 20,000. 20,000 drivers waiting to sign up with us, and we're just going through that process. So it's incredible how quick, and despite all the problems we've had, we've built all these businesses. And finally, Irene is running our ventures arm, and Irene was very instrumental in helping me put together the initial group of venture companies, which was Teleport, BigPay, and SuperApp. But we have many more ideas. So we've created Red Beet Capital, and we have Grocer at the back, and I'm particularly proud of Grocer, led by Joanna and Lalita, who we're trying to help farmers to earn more money and get better quality products to the table. AirAsia Academy I talked about, and Ikhlas, very narcissistically named the company after his name. He's the only narcissist that exists in AirAsia, and Bolingam, who has a plane painted with him. The only plane in AirAsia that has not been repainted, just to let you know. So we have 2 narcissists in AirAsia, Ikhlas and Bolingam. And then, of course, Irene has a lot of investments. If you don't know what narcissistic means, ask Irene later. Okay, so I shall done most of the video anyway. I've introduced all the people. The 2, my group CFO, Patra, is in Thailand at the moment. She has been an incredible rock for me through this period, phenomenally loyal and hardworking. So she's the group CFO of Capital A, and of course Rosman has been with me. Rosman was the first man who, when I told Kamarudin I want to start an airline, he sent Rosman to my house. And Rosman said, I hear you want to start an airline, how can I help? And we sat there for 1 hour trying to find out the price of fuel in building this model. So Rosman's been with me right from the beginning, and I've introduced all the CEOs except Amanda, who has already told the world that she's going to become the #1 ride-hailing company on the Nikkei. So Amanda, just officially say hello to everybody. She's the CEO of AirAsia SuperApp. And of course, Colin had his own press conference, so I'm not going to introduce him. Okay, let's move on. Oh, I pressed this slide. I've said all this, nothing to repeat again. And I've said this, we're going to unite AirAsia, ASEAN, right? And hopefully beyond. And we're all still all-stars. Despite whatever Pete says, we're all still one culture, and we all believe in one culture going forward, and that is to give our staff the best possible chance to live their dreams, and also to give the best customer experience to everyone. So I'm not going to go through this. This is led by Attila, who's up there, who is in charge of our culture, who is a legend and a culture by himself, but he's held our culture together, especially tough guys like Pete and Salim, who don't really want to be part of our culture but have no choice because we're paying them. Okay. that is the aviation group. I've kind of explained it all to you anyway in my opening remarks, so we'll just go through, but it's AirAsia, GTR, and Santan. Santan is a restaurant group and an in-flight services group for you. And you can already see GTR, just to show you how different we are from other airlines. We've already got so many different customers already. So we're not AirAsia-centric. You can now buy Malaysian airline tickets on our super app. You can buy Emirates and Etihad, and Amanda's done an amazing job, which I'll talk to you about after the next video. So that's the aviation group. And cool. So that's the super app. Again, I won't go through a lot. I just want to introduce Wai Fong, who's our new CEO of AirAsia Rewards, who's going to do an incredible job for us and is an essential pillar of making sure AirAsia super app comes together. So Wai Fong, say hello to everybody over there. She's just been promoted to CEO of AirAsia Rewards, which we've just renamed from Big Life. Again, you know, you'll go through this in time, but we're coming out with Unlimited, which is one of the key products that we're going to be doing. But I think I want to assess to you, are we as good as Grab or Foodpanda? No, we're 1 year old. And we built all of this during COVID, when we were trying to keep the airline alive. Now we're raising capital, watch us. And think back to the first slide for the standard question that's going to come to me from, you know, the lady from TV3 who's going to say, oh, how will you compete with Grab or Expedia, etc.? You know, her mother asked me the same question 20 years ago, is how will you still be here in 3 months' time when I started AirAsia? And I said, I don't know. Come back in 3 months' time. So we've only done this in 1 year. Watch what we're going to do when the airline starts flying, when we get investment going, you know, exactly what we did in AirAsia to become the 4th largest airline in Asia. And introducing Teleport now. So that plane over there, we're still waiting for approval from the Thai government, which is very soon, I think middle of Feb, is the first ever freighter for AirAsia Group, or Capital A now, and Teleport. It's the first time we've had a cargo aircraft. We've always moved cargo through our passenger planes, but we now have it, and I think we're looking at 4 more this year, and potentially a wide-body cargo plane. And Pete's vision is that he thinks he could take, of our 326 planes, he could potentially take half of them for cargo aircraft. So, you know, time will tell. But what we're doing at Teleport is to simplify logistics, as I mentioned, from A to B. So, you know, from cars, combination with Super App, riders, and trucks, lorries, what Lalamove does, what SF Express does, what Grab does. We can do it all, but we have one major difference. We have an airline, which means our mid-mile is stronger than anyone else in logistics. No one can do what we can do in terms of logistics because we have 250 aircraft, which will eventually be flying to over 100 destinations. So watch this space for teleport. And then over to PK. So again, I mean, I think, I won't go through this, it's all there, but the key thing is we have 1 million members already, built again through, or more than 1 million. Okay, how many? 1.2 million members already. I don't think that's true, but anyway, 1.2 million downloads. Oh, 1.2 million carded, oh, okay. Well, give Salim a round of applause. Got always discount because he's Iranian. So, but what we've built is Malaysia's #1 fintech company out of airline data. And that is the strength of Capital A. We have incredible airline data, 20 years worth of airline data. And the investment thesis is readily proven in terms of BigPay, which hopefully many of you are using already. So I mentioned it already, apart from investments outside of the group, and Irene has plans on health, on working closer with Tune Protect, of which she owns 16% of Tune Protect, which is the insurance company. So Irene taught me the most about venture building when we went to California, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. And so all that knowledge and her experience with Google and all their venture building, we decided to build our own venture here. And Grocer is going to start in KL. Really, you know, we're just finalizing the model. My dream is to have a subscription model so that you pay once a month, one fee, and you get all the food that you require to help you budget. And we're working with farmers and tech on that. It's going to be probably mostly our own products, not a marketplace. And we've just built our first warehouse in PJ. So we'll prove the model in KL first, and then let's see how it goes after that. The Academy, I'm super excited because my dream has always been about educating people and giving people a chance to be the very best, even though they may not have the financial resources. And of course, Ikhlas is, you know, what Ikhlas is doing. I was going to make a lot of jokes, but I better not. In terms of NFT Korban, which is coming soon from Ikhlas. It is quite amazing what his team has built with very little support, to be honest, within the AirAsia group because there are so many things happening at the same time. But we fixed that, and I honestly think, you know, what Ikhlas and his team is building is going to also transform many Muslim people's lives and bring religion into a digital front, which is nothing wrong with that, as we try to increase accessibility and inclusiveness into the digital world. There's no reason why religion can't be digitized as well to give people a better experience. I think that's it. Oh, yes, engineering.
A little awkward, but I care about you a lot, and I think it's just the best decision.
if Mahesh isn't here today, as I mentioned earlier, but if there's one of the most impressive things for me has been ADE. Going to Red Chain, which we will invite all of you press to come to, is quite amazing what we've achieved, actually. We're actually one of the first MROs to do inspection of aircraft by drones. And as you know, Irene has become the first official drone trainer in Malaysia, licensed by CAAM. So we're using drones not just for agriculture, soon we'll be using it for logistics, but also for aircraft inspection, which is one of the first in the world to do that. It is incredible what we've built. And I think many of my all-stars actually don't realize what we have built in the last 2 years during COVID. So what are our strengths? I've kind of mentioned this. We're ASEAN, huge data pool. That is probably one of the major strengths, 51 million customers, very strong single sign-on. So we have all these members that once you log on to AirAsia, you have your credit card, you have your address details, and so that's a huge asset for BigPay, for Super App, for all the other companies we talked about. Our rewards program is critical, 24 million loyalty members, one of the biggest in ASEAN, and 300 plus merchants. I'm very excited about Unlimited. This is our version of Amazon Prime, where if you sign up as a customer, you'll fly as many times as you want in the year, plus you'll get free delivery. And of course, we're coming out with our own kind of messenger, our own line, stroke KakaoTalk, which is hopefully going to be, the first version is there, and we already have 1 million users, even though it's a very, very simple system, and our own acquisition channels. And so that completes the presentation. Even for me, having done this for 20 years, you know, this is the first kind of speech I've ever done, actually, on all that we've achieved in the last 2 years. Even for me, I sit back in awe and think, wow, how did we do this while COVID was happening and 250 of our aircraft were on the ground and we had to pay salaries? Imagine what we're going to do from 2022 onwards. You know, from the year of the tiger, an Indonesian friend of mine who owns an OTA, and they boycotted AirAsia, they and 2 other OTAs. And this guy, I won't mention his name, but he's one of the biggest OTAs, didn't boycott AirAsia. And said, one of the reasons I didn't boycott you is I didn't want to wake up the dragon. Because I'm born in 1964, 57, in case you can't work that out. Because I don't look 57, I look 23. But he said, we don't want to wake up AirAsia. And you block AirAsia, they're going to build their own. And then they're going to come after us and beat us. Well, they woke us up. And that was the start of us building the OTA. And that was the start of someone irritated us on logistics. So we said, we'll go do it ourselves. And the rest is history. I want to thank all my staff who have suffered during these last 2 years, saved the airline, but also gone out and built all these amazing businesses, which even today when I'm presenting it, I'm sitting there in awe and thinking, how did we do this all? But it's down to all the people that I've just mentioned, plus the 20,000 all-stars behind them that have been incredible. Whether we have PN17, GN9, TN, whatever, we're going to come out of this incredibly stronger. And watch us in the year of the tiger. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please give him a big round of applause. Thank you for that presentation, although you didn't stick it. If I may invite the 3 presidents of Capital A to take some questions for media Q&A. So Bo, Colin, and Irene, as well as Tony, if you could please get on back on the stage to take questions. We have 30 media outlets joining us on the site and more than 22 to be exact, regional media joining us on the Zoom call. So if you have a question for any of these leaders, please do raise your hand. We will bring the microphone to you. Please state your name and the name of your publication and the question, and we will answer them for you. Any questions from those of you here on the ground? All right, we have a question from a lady from Business Times.
Hello. Hello. Hi, I'm Susan from Singapore's Business Times.
You may remove your mask just while you're asking the question. Thank you, Suzanne.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, this is Susan from Singapore's Business Times. So, I see that there's a lot going on for Capital A. So, but then we all need a focus in the end, at the end of the day. So what I'm going to ask is, what would be Capital A's focus in terms of growth strategy for this year? And yeah, that would be it. Thanks.
The focus is really what I said at the beginning, that what are we good at? We're good at low cost. We're good at, so that translates into affordability. We're good at building community and making things inclusive. And we're good at making things accessible. So whether it's teleport, whether it's BigPay, we want to make it very easy. So the focus is those three things. We will only be in businesses where we can provide a cost advantage. So if you think of AirAsia, why have we grown? Because we're the lowest cost in the world, hence we can give the best fares. Where we can produce a product that gives everyone a chance to take part. So in AirAsia, everyone can fly. We want to make sure everyone can get a BigPay card. Everyone can do logistics, right? And make it accessible. Everyone in ASEAN can reach those products. So the focus of the group is those three pillars. There is no, and if you look at every company, they all can benefit from each other, right? So Teleport's customers can borrow money from BigPay. Super App uses Teleport services for our express business, which will compete with DHL in the courier business. So everything is interlinked, and but it's all based on affordability, accessibility, and inclusiveness. And, you know, you say focus. The most important slide I put up there is the people. This isn't run by me anymore. It's run by the three presidents. Of course, I'm on top of them. And the various CEOs and their staff. So we've built direct management that reports to their boards and has aligned to us as a funder, right? So independent entrepreneurial companies that have the support of the AirAsia brand and Capital A Group, but are independent and focused in delivering what they have to do. And we kind of assist them along the way. Capital A only has about 30 staff, I think. Maybe less, actually. I don't actually know their number. But it's not very many staff. Most of it was on that slide and some secretaries and things. So it's very lean.
Hope that answered your question, Suzanne. One more.
Sorry, just to follow up on the question, it's because I think a lot of people are expecting like a certain portion they're going to focus on. So I guess what your answer is giving is something a bit different from others, I guess. So how do you actually plan to do what you're saying you're going to focus on? Like, what's the strategy involved in that?
Okay.
Does Colin want to take that question?
Hold on, I'll do this bit, then you can follow up. No, I'm only laughing because I spent 1 hour talking about it. But we're going to raise capital independently. So I think that's in your mind, actually, right? I mean, I translate how you're going to do all this with no money, correct? Right. I mean, next time, just get to the point. But I appreciate the question, and it's a good question. We've done a lot with no money so far, just to highlight, right? And remember, when I started AirAsia with Kamarudin, we had no money either. Right? We started the airline with 500,000 ringgit. That is all the money we had. People thought we had some sugar daddy, sugar mommy, whatever. We didn't. That's all the money we had. We just had Bo Lingam, who worked for us for free. That was the contribution for 2 months, I think. He said he'll do it for charity. And but if you read deeper, Salim has raised $100 million from SK Group, right? So he's set, and he's on round 2 of raising capital now. Pete is just about to close the deal for a debt deal for 40 million. Actually, he's closed that deal with Irene's help, and raising another $30 million of capital. So he's set. Amanda is just about to close a deal as well for $100 to $200 million. Okay, so all of those business, and Irene is raising capital on her fund as well with some very famous names that will surprise many of you. So the digital businesses are all set. ADE is also in the last lines of raising capital for his business, principally to build a hangar. And the aviation business, we've raised 2.5 billion, which is well publicized. So we have capital, we have brand and data, and we have management now, supplemented with people like Colin to assist me in driving that strategy.
Hi. So, as many of you know, that I'm new in the group here, Capital 8 weeks in, and I also asked this sort of question, you know, when I was talking to Tony about coming in here, and the vision really is how we transforming now out of our core business, which is aviation, to a brand that is going to offer lifestyle services, financial services, travel. I can't think of any other brand that does that globally. And that's really where we want to go to, and that's the focus, because any consumer that comes and flies on the airline also will need a ride, or will need to order food, for example, or go to Salem for Big Pay Financial Services. So that's, you know, where we're going. And on the slide it said, what is our purpose? Our purpose every day is to connect people and transform their lives through the offering of a wide variety of products and services. And that's our vision. That's where our roadmap, where we're going. And, you know, as Tony said, you know, 20 years ago when Tony started an airline, you know, that was a dream. This is our dream now for the next 10 years and beyond.
Just to add, is that Aziz clapping? Is he paid to be your cheerleader? Aziz, are you clapping? Do you want to clap one more time? So, it's Attila, okay. He has a lot of fans within AirAsia. So anyway, just to go back, I want to focus a little bit on our own acquisition channels. Just, you know, we have Wi-Fi on our planes. No one else has that. 90 million people, that's a free channel that AirAsia has. We've developed our own messenger. So we have a lot of very powerful tools to build this. And I keep saying we're only 1 year old. So we have an enormous amount of data to do that. And I want to, it's kind of interesting, you know, Colin, and Aziz can clap again in a second. But I would love you to hear Colin's story of why he joined AirAsia from Adidas, probably one of the biggest companies in the world. And he's had many opportunities to join massive fashion brands, global fashion brands. But he chose AirAsia. And I think, you know, I mean, when he called me up, I didn't call him up because I didn't think I could afford him. And I also didn't think he was very bright. But, you know, he is smarter than I thought. So Colin, maybe it'd be good for you to, because you knew. And so, you know, why did you want to join, and what do you think you're going to achieve here?
Okay,
let's get ready to clap.
You know, when Tony, when I did media training in Adidas, they taught me to do everything that you don't do. Let me try and address this question. You know, I've always followed the AirAsia journey from my various professional jobs. And when I came back here during COVID, I was in China running Asia Pacific for Adidas as the CEO. I looked at what Tony was doing, and I was thinking, wow, this guy is going up against Grab. He's going up against FedEx. He's already the 4th largest airline in Asia, and is going to climb even more once COVID is gone, post-COVID. And We're going to have money, pocket money. We have fintech. And I said, what an opportunity to build a brand that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world, let alone in ASEAN. And when we talk about how to transform AirAsia, which Tony said is rooted in everybody's hearts and minds as an airline, to something that is far greater, where you can get anything through the platform Super App in your daily lives. You don't need to touch another brand for whatever you need. You just need to go to one single platform, which is Super App. That is such a huge opportunity. And that is the reason why I called Tony and said, hey, can I help you on your journey? And secondly, I just want to have fun. Okay, and this company and this brand and all these people here, the All-Stars, seem like a great bunch of people. And I always say to people, if you have a job that you love doing, you're never going to have to work in a day of your life.
There you go. Aziz, you want to clap? Where's Aziz? Okay, any other questions?
I'll share one question posted on Zoom by Bloomberg. Maybe Bo can take this question. For the aviation group, you revealed plans to focus on ASEAN. Does this mean that there is no longer any future ambition to fly low-cost, long-haul?
No, not at all. AirAsia X, of which we have an investment in, has recently been restructured. They are they're having a fantastic run with cargo, and Teleport is now their principal partner in cargo. I think all of it now. They just signed Geodis, which is I think I pronounced it right, which is a huge logistics provider. AirAsia X is planning routes to London and New York very soon, on top of our existing network. So very much long-haul, local. Can AirAsia help farmers earn more income? And I went to farms and I went on fishing boats and realized that most farmers don't really make much money. And then I also discovered that Malaysia has some incredible brands and products that no one knows about. We have the best mangoes in the world. Really, I've tasted the best mangoes from Perlis. And so we started this trying to take food from the farm directly, so the farmers could get more margin, and people could have fresher food. And the dream is that they'll actually, with blockchain, they will know where the food came from. And it's a tough job. Initially, it was B2B, so taking from the farm to restaurants. But now we've made it B2B. We've also created an export and import business, and finally B2C, which is AirAsia Grocer. We've just got our warehouse up, and we're sorting out the logistics. But it's a very exciting journey to give people in KL, in the first instance, a chance to have farm fresh food. It's very exciting for me to give farmers, who really are so important to Malaysia, a chance to earn a better living. And, you know, it's up to Joanna and Lalita how far they take this business. But you know, we're learning as we go. You know, Lalita started this, and I think she never saw a farm in her life. And now, you know, she's the best friend of all the farmers. Joanna was a management consultant, and now they live and breathe AirAsia Farm and Grocer. So under Irene's stewardship, we will nurture it and hopefully make it successful and then grow it around ASEAN. Time will tell whether we can do it, but the ambitions are great and the dream is very real, and it's a noble business if we can make it work.
Okay.
There's another
Amanda
question.
from Amanda from TV3. Here. So with the name change to capital A, maybe you could share with us in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, how will it help the group in terms of renegotiation of the contracts and so forth? How will it help this name change?
I don't think the name change helps in terms of renegotiating of contracts or anything like that, but it changes in the perception of the group that Teleport will get more attention, that Big Pay will get more attention. 99% of the questions asked by all of you would always be on AirAsia. That's changing as more and more of you write about our other companies, as the articles on Teleport and Big Pay and stuff. So it's not about renegotiating contracts. Bo will still continue dealing with aviation contracts. Irene will deal with farmers' contracts. Capital A is all about telling the world that we're much more than an airline.
And it puzzles me because, coming to what's the latest in the media or reported, we're all very strong pillars, businesses, very vast, very diversified. Why is now, which is now known as Capital A, is under the PN17 status, and how will the group come out of it? Is there any timeline?
Yeah, I hope you understand what PN17 is. If you don't, look at the classification of why AirAsia is. It's purely accounting. And in fact, the solutions have nothing to do with liquidity. And that's why I've spoken to Bursa to say they should relook at their rules, because it's very, very not very clear to the layman, right? So PN17 has had zero effect on, AirAsia was PN17 2 years ago. It just had relief. And we've raised $2.5 billion worth of capital. We're raising another $1 billion of capital. That doesn't take into consideration. The PN17 has been caused by leasing when we never paid. It's in the P&L, but we never paid it. It shouldn't be in the P&L. We wouldn't be in PN17. And by an accounting from restructuring, something called a merger deficit of $5 billion. If you take these two things out, we would not be in PN17. They're accounting. And the solutions on PN17 are accounting as well, because the group has more than enough liquidity, right? So PN17 is not stopping me or any one of us. We're very focused on growing and adding value, and we'll continue.
And could you also share on AirAsia Super Apps listing any progress?
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about all of that today, but in due course, Amanda and stuff. First lot is focused on raising capital. That's the first round. And then secondly, we'll look at listing, etc.
In total, how much will be raising for 2022?
I can't remember the exact number, but it's close to about 1 billion ringgit.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll take one more question from the floor and another one on Zoom.
Okay, we can take all of them.
Okay.
Two guys behind you, Jaga.
Okay. Sorry, if you...
No, there's the guy behind you with the cool hairstyle.
Hi, I'm Chapri from Lawyer.net. Okay, I'm really interested that you mentioned about the unlimited subscription. You call it as your version of Amazon Prime. So may I know what customers can expect the services from it? Also the price range, subscription model, and of course when it will be launched. Okay.
Yeah, we had a couple of trials during COVID. We did unlimited. It's evolved a lot more. I'll let Colin speak through that. On that, it's great you picked it up. That's one of our strengths. We think Amazon Prime and subscription is a fantastic model, and so we'll be following that a lot. Colin.
I think if we look at the subscription model and the future of what that may be, we can bring entertainment in there. We can add all the products and services that other brands currently have in their subscription model. And then we add, our core business of flights, plus hotels, etc., plus rides. And we can package this all up and really go head-to-head with other leading competitor brands. And I think that's our competitive advantage. We add our businesses that, we've been around for the last 20 years. So Amanda is working on this. We're developing the product and a go-to-market strategy on this. And hopefully we're going to also bring a new technology, right, into the market, which we won't talk about today, that will really allow us to leapfrog other sort of app platforms. It's going to be really exciting.
I think we've had a few false starts with Unlimited because of COVID. No one's going to buy an Unlimited when you can't fly anywhere. So as borders open, etc., and now we've also got more delivery products from Express, Food, Grocer, etc., you'll begin to see Colin and Amanda roll out some pretty cool things on Unlimited.
So can we expect that within this year, or is
it? 100% this year, 100%. I mean, I'm ready. Amanda's holding us back. So she just wants more borders to open. But, we're not far away. March. She just said March, which means April.
I have the same question, but for the airlines, because you mentioned that the aviation group are adding new airlines. So, yeah.
What, on the Unlimited?
No, the new airlines that Tony mentioned that you guys are expanding, adding new airlines.
No, I can't announce that right now. In due course.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said it, but I did. So write about it.
Definitely. Thank you.
But we can't tell you more than that.
Just a quick one on the aviation group, Tony. How has it been the last 2 years? I mean, you are a very pragmatic person. Share us with your emotions. And second question is that the year of Tiger, you're going to fly to ASEAN destinations. Could you tell us what are the 3 biggest challenges that you would probably face?
I think Bo has no emotion. So it'd be interesting to hear what he thought of the last 2 years. And he can tell you about the future.
It was a tough 2 years, but with all the staff and all of us were pretty focused on what we need to do moving forward. So COVID is COVID, You're not going to sit there and cry about it. So the 2 years we did a lot of things. As you can see, there's AD. We collaborated with Amanda, Pete, and everyone, and did a lot of touchless airport digitalization. So those are the things we did. Moving forward, what's the question, Jaga?
What is going to be the 3 major challenges going into ASEAN markets?
I think the only challenge I would think about opening borders and restrictions of what other countries are imposing. Apart from that, I don't see any challenges.
Okay. What kind of restrictions?
Pardon?
What kind of restrictions?
Restrictions?
Yeah, what kind of?
Yeah, restrictions of going into countries, whether you want PCR and quarantine and all those.
The only challenge is politicians. On how many restrictions, PCR tests, whatever. But I'm a big optimist. I think that governments are realizing that Omicron is less dangerous, and we have to live with this. And I think more and more people, yesterday we saw Denmark removing all restrictions, UK, Holland, we're moving towards an endemic stage. And, today is something that wouldn't have happened 6 months ago, right? We have, and you saw Minister of Health saying that Omicron is here, we have to take precautions and live with it. Hopefully everyone is boosted, and we wear masks, and, we're careful. So I think we're moving into an endemic stage.
All right, I'll share another question that was posted on Zoom. Dusita from Bangkok Post. How long will it take for revenue on aviation to bounce back to pre-COVID 2019 level, and what are the key factors to support growth?
I think Bo's answered that. We can bounce back as soon as all the borders are open. People want to travel. You can see it from domestic. We're already back to where we were pre-COVID in domestic. And the load factors are fantastic. We open a flight to Cambodia, it's full. So as soon as, these kind of barriers to entry, quarantine, PCR testing, my nose has been destroyed by the number of tests I've had. As soon as that goes, we'll get back to where we were. Very fast, very, very fast. As long as Mahesh gets our planes fixed in time.
Prem from Nikkei.
Yeah. Hi, Tony. Hi. Congratulations on your big rename. My question is, I have two questions. One on the timing of the renaming that you have embarked on with the PN17, with COVID-19. Is it like a fresh restart that you're looking at with a new name? And second question is on the 1 billion ringgit fundraising. How are you going to do it? Is it tapping the capital market or through bank loans, or how are you going to do it? Thank you.
No, I mean, yeah, it is a fresh start, but it's an evolution of the 2 years. Is it window dressing, which is, I think, what you're trying to say to me? No, I don't think we're that kind of company. We just continue to go, and we've built a hell of a lot more. It's nothing to do with PN17 or COVID, but obviously COVID got us focused in accelerating this digital strategy because we were all at home. So, we probably wouldn't have been able to achieve this as fast if we were still running 250 planes. So I stress again, capital A is not a function of COVID or PN17 or anything. You don't change your name. I think PN17 was last week. We went with a circular way before that. And it's a reflection of what this company is, right? And I think it's actually more than $1 billion, because if you just take, Pete has already got debt capital of $40 million, which is 200 million ringgit. Amanda's close to closing a big fundraise. So it's a mixture of debt and equity, but it actually will be more than 1 billion ringgit. And thank you for saying congratulations. I mean, kind of a new thing for you to say nice things.
Hello, I'm Isan from GG Press. I'm curious about the story of coming out of the name of Capital A. Why Capital? Why not others' name?
I don't know. Ask Irene. She came up with the name.
Thought we just have a very simple name, Capital, because it really is an investment holding company that holds all the various companies from aviation all the way into grocer and so forth. A really because, it's the first thing that comes, the first alphabet. And it's also denotes AirAsia and many other things that we do, really. So it's just a simple name that covers everything. So that's what we think. Yeah. It doesn't denote my name, actually. Actually, it's just capital A as the first alphabet, really. And I think branding, which is Rudy put some color into it to explain why it will be a fantastic name. Maybe Rudy want to explain that.
Rudy, you want to come up wherever you are? So come down.
Well,
I think while Rudy's coming down, Irene said probably the most important thing, which was not put in the presentation or not said by me in my very long speech. We're an investment holding company now, right? That's why capital is there. Capital A is an investment holding company for these various companies, right? So we're like a fund now, and there are many companies like that. So we're an investment holding company, and we're kind of the funder of all these businesses.
Yeah, so the whole idea behind Capital A as well, like Irene mentioned, was a name that she kind of came up with, but then when we thought about it, it was something that really made sense. for who we are now as a company. And, you know, like she mentioned, A is the first alphabet. The whole idea here was that AirAsia kind of, you know, started everything in terms of what we're doing now as an airline. But also so much more, right? A also stands for ASEAN, also stands for Asia. And it's really, the whole idea is that everything starts here. And A being the first letter of the alphabet as well. And capital A sounding like an exclamation that we're here to do everything and start things together in the region. That's kind of the whole story behind the name.
Actually, you got ABC on the stage, right? Because Irene is A, B is Bo, and C is Colin. And actually, I'm A, because my name is Anthony. So it's actually capital Anthony. I'm the narcissistic person like Bo.
I'll share another question from the floor. Among all your business segments, which contributed most to the group revenue for this year?
I mean, airline still. I mean, we are, but logistics is pretty close. It's catching up very fast. But obviously, airlines had 20 years, and ride-hailing has had, 20 days. So it will take a little bit of time. But the aim, to whoever asked that question, is that within 5 years, the group will have 50% from airline and 50% from non-AirAsia revenue, which is pretty amazing because, if we go back to where we were, we're the fourth largest airline in Asia, right?
Any other question? Yes.
Hi, morning. Sia from The Edge. Congratulations on the rebrand, and I noticed you changed your cap to the one with the new logo. So 2 questions.
I wear whatever they tell me.
2 questions. First one, I think you probably don't like it because it's about the airline. Second question, I'll go to it later. So I think the first question is, last I checked, oil prices is around $80 to $90 per barrel. How is the airline going to manage that, when it reopens? Everybody is also reopening. So that's the first question. Second question is, I note that Capital A is now an investment holding company. Typically, investment holding companies get conglomerate discount. So how will, you think that the company could unlock its value, spin-offs, IPOs, to get the market to rate it appropriately? Thank you.
Yeah. Well, second question, change the transport analyst, number 1, would help.
Change the transport analyst with a tech analyst, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. With a C. Anyway, no. This is an evolution. So what was your name?
Sia.
Sia, this is an evolution, Sia. It's not going to happen overnight, right? So we'll just wait and see. And the market, I'm not here, the market will have to decide whether there's value in us or not, right? Oil price, last time I checked, every airline had, it's nothing wrong with asking that question, by the way, it's a good question. Oil price is affecting every airline. But we do have pricing power at the moment, right? Because people will pay.
Fourth largest in Asia.
No, not so much. No, not that. Pricing power is there's not a lot of capacity right now. And there's a huge amount of demand, right? So, we've lived through much higher oil price, by the way. But at this point, a lot of people want to, so we can charge higher, for sure, and demand is still there. So it's not really a major worry for us right now. We don't think oil right now is a little bit frothy. It'll come down. Crack prices are still pretty low. So it's not a major issue to us right now. But oil affects everybody. That's the one good thing, right? It's not just AirAsia buying oil. Everyone's buying oil.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the floor? No. All right. Well, there's one more from Bloomberg. Can I clarify the context of the 1 billion ringgit? What did Tony mean by that?
What did I mean?
Yes.
I mean that we're going to raise 1 billion.
I hope you got the answer. Bloomberg reporter on the line.
Well, you're going to see me at 1 o'clock anyway. You can ask me again.
Yeah, this is Bloomberg print, so.
Okay. Well,
All
maybe
right.
they should
Well,
talk to
that
each
just about wraps up. Let's give everyone a big round of applause for taking all the questions. being in the hot seat. All right, well, that just brings us to the end of our press conference on the announcement of our name change of the investment holding company. We do have refreshments ready for you because today is such an important and special event. We have special refreshments prepared by Santan, the new Pak Nasser's nasi lemak with golden salmon and other array of new dishes on the menu. So please do enjoy. Have a great day ahead. And thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye. And the leadership team, you are not off the hook yet. We have more pictures, as well as all the CEOs, all the leadership teams. If you could come to the front for a group photo, thank you very much.